Picture this. Your phone dies, the power grid fails, and suddenly the world feels unrecognizable. No GPS, no grocery store, no internet to lean on. How long could you last? Most of us are so dependent on modern conveniences that we've lost the survival skills our ancestors used for thousands of years. Our great-grandparents could build fires from scratch, preserve food without refrigeration, and navigate by the stars. They knew which plants healed and which harmed. For them, survival wasn't about gadgets. It was about knowledge, the one resource no one could take away. Today, I'm sharing 9 forgotten skills that could save your life when everything else fails. These aren't relics of the past. They're practical abilities modern survivalists still rely on. By the end of this video, you'll see why rediscovering these timeless skills might be the most important preparation you'll ever make. Let's start with skill number 1, creating fire without modern tools. Fire was humanity's first great technology. It provided warmth, protection, light, and the ability to cook food. Our ancestors mastered multiple methods of fire creation because their lives depended on it. The bow drill method remains one of the most reliable techniques. You create a small wooden bow, wrap the string around a straight wooden spindle, and use downward pressure while moving the bow back and forth. The friction generates heat, creating an ember in a small notch carved into a piece of tinder board. It sounds simple, but it requires practice, patience, and understanding of wood types. Dry cedar works exceptionally well for both the spindle and the board. The flint and steel approach offers another reliable option. Strike a piece of high-carbon steel against flint, directing the sparks into a bundle of char cloth or dry tinder. The key is having properly prepared tinder that catches sparks easily. Birch bark, dried grass, and shredded inner bark from dead trees all work wonderfully. What makes fire creation so crucial isn't just the warmth or cooking ability. Fire provides psychological comfort, keeps dangerous animals at bay, and can signal for rescue. Master this skill, and you've taken your first step toward true self-reliance. Moving on to skill number 2, food preservation without refrigeration. Before the invention of electric refrigeration, people developed ingenious methods to keep food safe for months or even years. These techniques don't just prevent spoilage, they can actually enhance flavors and nutritional value. Salt curing draws moisture from meat, creating an environment where harmful bacteria cannot survive. Pack meat in coarse salt, ensuring complete coverage, and the salt will gradually penetrate the flesh while extracting water. After several weeks, you'll have preserved meat that can last for months without spoiling. Smoking combines heat and chemical compounds from burning wood to preserve food while adding incredible flavor. Cold smoking works at temperatures below 90 degrees, slowly dehydrating food while infusing it with smoke. Hot smoking cooks and preserves simultaneously, creating immediately edible results. Fermentation harnesses beneficial bacteria to preserve vegetables and dairy products. Sauerkraut, kimchi, and pickles all rely on controlled fermentation. The process creates lactic acid, which prevents harmful bacteria from taking hold while developing complex, tangy flavors. These preservation methods aren't just about extending shelf life. They transform simple ingredients into complex, flavorful foods that often surpass their fresh counterparts in both taste and nutritional density. Skill number 3 brings us to natural navigation. Long before GPS satellites circled the Earth, travelers found their way using natural landmarks, celestial bodies, and environmental clues. These navigation techniques remain incredibly valuable because they work anywhere and never run out of battery. The sun provides your most reliable compass during daylight hours. It rises in the east, travels through the south and the northern hemisphere, and sets in the west. At midday, shadows point directly north. You can create a simple sundial by placing a straight stick in the ground and marking the shadow's tip every hour. Stars offer navigation guidance after dark. The North Star sits almost directly above true north and remains stationary while other stars rotate around it. Find it by locating the Big Dipper constellation and drawing an imaginary line through the 2 stars at the end of the cup. This line points directly to the North Star. Natural indicators provide additional navigation clues. Moss typically grows on the north side of trees in the northern hemisphere because that side receives less direct sunlight. Snow lingers longer on north-facing slopes. Even animal behavior can provide directional hints. as many species follow predictable migration patterns. Understanding these natural navigation methods means you'll never be truly lost as long as you can see the sky or read the landscape around you. The fourth essential skill involves plant identification and foraging. Nature provides an incredible pharmacy and grocery store for those who know how to read it. However, this knowledge requires careful study because the difference between food and poison can literally be life or death. Dandelions grow almost everywhere and offer complete nutrition. The leaves provide vitamins and minerals, the flowers can be eaten raw or cooked, and the roots can be roasted to make a coffee substitute. Every part of this common plant is edible and beneficial. Wild berries provide quick energy and essential vitamins. Blackberries, raspberries, and elderberries are generally safe and easy to identify. The key rule for berry identification: if it's blue or black with a crown, it's usually safe. Red berries require more caution, and white berries should generally be avoided. Edible nuts and seeds offer concentrated nutrition and healthy fats. Acorns, walnuts, and pine nuts can provide substantial calories. Acorns require processing to remove bitter tannins, but they can be ground into flour and used for baking. Learning plant identification takes time and practice, but it opens up a world of natural resources that surround us every day. Start with common, easily identifiable plants in your local area, and gradually expand your knowledge. These first 4 skills represent just the beginning of what our ancestors knew instinctively. Fire creation, food preservation, natural navigation, and plant identification formed the foundation of human survival creating a comprehensive millennia. Each skill builds upon the other's understanding of how to live independently from modern systems. But we're just getting started. The remaining 5 skills dive even deeper into the practical knowledge that can transform you from dependent on modern conveniences to truly self-sufficient. These abilities go beyond basic survival into the realm of actually thriving in challenging conditions. The 5th skill separates the truly prepared from those just getting by: hunting and trapping without modern equipment. Our ancestors developed silent, patient methods that required intimate knowledge of animal behavior rather than expensive gear. They understood that successful hunting was more about reading signs than making noise. Track reading forms the foundation of primitive hunting. Fresh tracks show clear, sharp edges, while old tracks appear weathered and filled with debris. The depth of a print reveals the animal's weight and speed. Disturbed vegetation, broken twigs, and scat provide additional clues about what animals frequent an area and when they pass through. Simple snares can capture small game using basic cordage and knowledge of animal pathways. Animals follow predictable routes between feeding areas, water sources, and shelter. A properly placed snare along these natural highways works continuously while you attend to other survival tasks. The key lies in understanding where animals naturally constrict their movement through fences, fallen logs, or narrow passages. Deadfall traps use gravity and leverage to capture prey. The Paiute deadfall requires only 3 sticks, some cordage, and bait. When triggered, a heavy rock or log falls onto the animal. These traps work exceptionally well for catching rabbits, squirrels, and other small mammals that provide essential protein and fat. Fish traps offer another reliable protein source. Weave a funnel-shaped basket from flexible branches, creating a wide entrance that narrows to a small opening. Fish swim in easily but struggle to find their way out. Place these traps in streams where fish naturally congregate near rocks or fallen trees. The psychology of hunting requires infinite patience and respect for the animals you're pursuing. Move slowly, minimize your scent, and learn to think like your prey. Where would they feel safe? When do they feed? Understanding these patterns makes the difference between success and hunger. Moving to skill number 6, constructing weather-resistant shelter using natural materials. Shelter ranks second only to fire in survival priorities because exposure kills faster than hunger or thirst. Our ancestors built structures that lasted for years using nothing but materials found in their immediate environment. The debris hut provides excellent insulation using the forest floor itself. Create a ridgepole between 2 trees or prop it against a sturdy trunk. Lean shorter branches against both sides, creating a ribcage framework. Pack the entire structure with leaves, pine needles, bark, and any other organic debris. The thicker the insulation layer, the warmer your shelter will be. In areas with suitable stone, dry stacked rock walls provide wind protection and thermal mass. Flat stones stack most effectively, but even rounded rocks can create functional walls when properly placed. Leave gaps between stones filled with smaller rocks and debris to eliminate drafts while maintaining structural integrity. Underground shelters offer protection from extreme weather conditions. Dig into a hillside or create a pit shelter covered with logs and earth. These structures maintain more consistent temperatures because the earth insulates against both heat and cold. The key involves proper drainage to prevent water accumulation. Thatched roofing using long grasses or palm fronds sheds water effectively when layered properly. Start at the bottom and work upward, overlapping each layer like shingles. The steeper the roof angle, the better water runs off without penetrating the structure. Understanding local building materials makes shelter construction more efficient. Birch bark peels in large sheets, perfect for covering frameworks. Pine boughs create excellent insulation and bedding. Clay-rich soil can be mixed with grass to create primitive concrete for chinking between logs. The seventh skill involves water location and purification without modern filters. Water is life, but contaminated water brings death through disease. Our ancestors developed sophisticated methods for finding clean water sources and making questionable water safe to drink. Natural water indicators help locate springs and underground sources. Lush vegetation in otherwise dry areas often signals underground water. Animal trails frequently lead to water sources, especially in arid regions. Birds fly toward water in the evening and away from it in the morning. Solar disinfection uses ultraviolet rays to kill harmful microorganisms. Fill clear plastic bottles with water and lay them on their sides in direct sunlight for 6 hours on bright days or 2 days during cloudy conditions. The combination of UV radiation and heat eliminates most pathogens that cause waterborne illness. Sand and charcoal filtration removes physical contaminants and some chemicals. Layer sand, crushed charcoal, and gravel in a container with holes in the bottom. Pour water through slowly, allowing each layer to trap different types of contaminants. This method won't eliminate all bacteria and viruses, so combine it with boiling or solar disinfection. Boiling remains the most reliable purification method. Water reaches a full rolling boil at 212 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. Maintain this temperature for at least 1 minute to kill bacteria, viruses, and parasites. At higher altitudes, boil for 3 minutes due to lower atmospheric pressure. Natural purification materials grow all around us. Horsetail grass contains silica that helps filter water. Certain clay types bind with toxins and bacteria, settling them out of solution. Sand and gravel naturally filter out larger particles and debris. Skill number 8 focuses on basic medical care using natural remedies. Before modern medicine, people treated injuries and illnesses using plants, minerals, and simple procedures passed down through generations. While these methods can't replace professional medical care, they provide valuable options when help isn't available. Willow bark contains salicin, the natural precursor to aspirin. Chew the inner bark or make tea from it to reduce pain and fever. This remedy has been used for thousands of years and forms the basis for one of our most common modern medications. Honey possesses remarkable antibacterial properties that help prevent infection and wounds. Raw honey contains enzymes that produce hydrogen peroxide, creating an environment hostile to harmful bacteria. Apply honey directly to clean wounds and cover with clean cloth or leaves. Plantain leaves work as natural bandages with healing properties. Crush fresh plantain leaves to release their juices and apply directly to cuts, scrapes, or insect bites. The plant reduces inflammation and promotes healing while protecting wounds from further contamination. Yarrow stops bleeding by promoting blood clotting. Crush fresh yarrow leaves and flowers, then pack them into bleeding wounds. This plant has been called soldier's woundwort because of its effectiveness in treating battlefield injuries. Pine needle tea provides vitamin C to prevent scurvy during long periods without fresh fruits and vegetables. Steep fresh pine needles in hot water for 10 minutes, then strain and drink. This simple preparation contains more vitamin C than citrus fruits and tastes surprisingly pleasant. The final skill ties everything together, building and maintaining community relationships that enhance survival for everyone involved. Humans evolved as social creatures, and our survival advantages multiply when we work together rather than struggling alone. Skill sharing creates resilience that no individual can achieve alone. When one person masters fire creation while another excels at plant identification, the group's collective knowledge far exceeds what any member could accomplish solo. This division of labor allows specialists to develop deeper expertise while ensuring critical skills remain preserved within the community. Resource pooling multiplies everyone's chances of survival. A single person might struggle to gather enough firewood, food, and materials for shelter while also maintaining security. But 5 people working together can accomplish these tasks more efficiently while posting lookouts and caring for injured members. The mathematics of survival strongly favor group cooperation. Trust networks develop through consistent actions over time. Share your knowledge freely, contribute to group projects, and prove your reliability through small commitments before larger crises arise. People remember who helped during good times and naturally turn to those individuals when emergencies strike. Leadership rotation prevents single points of failure within survival communities. Different situations require different expertise. The best tracker might lead during hunting expeditions, while the most experienced builder directs shelter construction. Flexible leadership structures adapt to changing circumstances more effectively than rigid hierarchies. Conflict resolution skills become critical when stress levels rise and resources grow scarce. Learn to mediate disputes fairly, find win-win solutions, and maintain group cohesion when tensions flare. A community that fragments under pressure loses all its survival advantages and often performs worse than isolated individuals. Trade relationships extend your effective territory beyond what you can personally control. Establish connections with other groups or individuals who possess different skills or access to varied resources. These networks provide backup options when local resources become depleted or inaccessible. Communication systems allow coordination across distances without modern technology. Smoke signals, mirror flashes, and drum beats can convey basic messages over miles. Establish simple codes that group members understand for common situations like danger warnings, meeting locations, or resource discoveries. Teaching and mentoring ensure knowledge survives even if individual experts become unavailable. Document important techniques through practice sessions, stories, and demonstrations. Create redundancy by training multiple people in each critical skill, rather than relying on single specialists. Defense coordination multiplies security effectiveness while minimizing individual risk. Organized watches, alarm systems, and response protocols protect everyone more efficiently than scattered individual efforts. Groups can also negotiate from positions of strength when dealing with potential threats. Food sharing and storage systems smooth out the inevitable feast or famine cycles of survival living. Establish fair distribution methods, create community storage facilities, and develop preservation techniques that benefit everyone. Surplus from successful hunting or foraging expeditions gets distributed according to contribution and need. The synergy between these 9 forgotten skills creates a complete survival system greater than the sum of its parts. Fire enables cooking and preservation. Navigation leads you to water and food sources. Plant knowledge supports both nutrition and medicine. Hunting provides protein, while trapping works passively. Shelter construction uses materials found through environmental awareness. Water purification keeps you healthy enough to apply those skills, and natural medicine sustains group productivity. Finally, community building ties it all together, ensuring these abilities aren't isolated but coordinated for long-term resilience. But skills only matter if they're practiced. Emergency situations aren't the time to discover your fire-starting method doesn't work, or that you can't identify edible plants safely. Confidence and muscle memory only come through repeated use. Light fires during camping trips, preserve food in small batches, build test shelters in your yard, navigate short distances using landmarks. Focus on one skill at a time. Deep knowledge of a single reliable fire-starting method is far more valuable than vague familiarity with 5. Adapt your practice to your environment. Plants differ between desert and forest. Shelters that work in summer fail in winter. Redundancy matters too. Learn multiple water purification methods, several trapping designs, and at least 2 ways to start fire. Mental resilience is just as critical as technical ability. Stress clouds judgment, so train under mild pressure to build confidence. Document your progress. Keep journals of plant IDs, trap sketches, and shelter notes for quick reference during crisis. Each mastered skill transforms you from a dependent consumer into a capable contributor. You'll begin to see food, medicine, and tools where others see only wilderness. That shift in perspective creates peace of mind, true preparedness, and a reconnection with the wisdom that sustained humanity for thousands of years. These 9 forgotten skills represent more than just survival techniques. They're a bridge between our vulnerable present and our resilient past. In a world where everything can fail, knowledge never does. Start practicing one skill today. Master it completely before moving to the next. Because when the lights go out and the systems collapse, the person with these abilities doesn't just survive, they thrive.